What's up guys, and welcome back with some more Genshin Impact, and we're going to be checking out another theory from the homie Island XD, and it is the untold identity of Kusanali. And I'm excited for this one because I've been waiting to see some of these like Sumeru theories, and the Archon quest was really crazy. It was a very different kind of Archon quest that we're used to. Really messes with the brain. So as always, be sure to leave a like on Island's video. The link to this video will be in the description box below. Always want to make sure that we give credit. And if you enjoy my reaction to the video, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff helps out a bunch on the road to 6,000 subscribers. But let's check this thing out. Let me make sure we're good to go. This video contains spoilers. Okay. Genshin Impact. So yeah. Sumeru Archon Quest, Act 1 and 2, then this quest, okay, and then, yeah, okay, I'm fine then. If you're not fine with this, exit the video. Okay.
Moments after arriving in Sumeru for the first time, Paimon asks a simple question. Who do we believe the statue of the Seven represents?
Yeah.
Now, regardless of how we decide to answer this question, Paimon gives us a positive response for both. And I believe this is the starting point of lies, deception, and mirage shrouding the identity of the Dendro Archon. The question itself is an illusion, forcing us to choose between Lesser Lord Kusanali and the Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. But instead of accepting this one-dimensional outcome, I ask myself a different question. Why can't this statue be for both? With this possibility looming in my mind, I dove into the story to learn the truth behind Kusanali and Rukkhadevata. And what I quickly realized was that the sages, the Fatui, and even the Greater Lord herself might have been lying since the very beginning. But before we get into the madness of deceit, let's talk about the statue. Couldn't the people of Sumeru simply change the appearance? Well, the story tells us that this is likely improbable. Now, obviously, the statue of Mondstadt and Liyue never had to change because Venti and Zhongli are still alive. But in the case of Inazuma, even if the people had the ability to change the statue, they never had a reason because they didn't know A took over for Makoto. Obviously, it didn't matter because they're twins.
Yeah, they literally look the same, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways.
What about Sumeru? If you think about it, Kusanali only exists within dreams, and because the people of Sumeru cannot dream, they wouldn't know what she...
Oh, you're gonna say that they don't know what she looks like. Okay, and yet at certain points I am gonna pause to talk about it because it is a reaction, obviously, but that's a good point. How would that be her if people don't know what she looks like? Most people do not even know what she looks like, and she's locked up in that, like, was it tower, that building, whatever the case is. So she's been up there that whole time, right? So people don't even know her appearance. So it would have to be the older version.
She would look like. Even if the sages knew, I find it hard to believe that they would change the statue to look like the god that they despised.
Yeah, okay, another good point. Sorry, pausing it again. But yeah, another good point. Yeah, it wouldn't really make sense for them to change it to her either, because the people don't like her, nor do they respect her. So it just wouldn't make sense whatsoever.
Why does it look like Kusanali? Let's start with the simple analogy. A coin. The coin itself does not change. However, each side of the coin symbolizes two different outcomes, heads and tails. In similar fashion, I believe that the core identity of the statue remains constant, but can represent both Kusanali and Rukkhadevata simultaneously, unironically making Paimon's two-sided answer accurate. And if this is true,
like I said, actually smart.
There are several reasons on how this is possible. The first possibility is reincarnation. Now, immediately, this sounds like an outlandish idea, but if you have completed the Aranara World Quest, this thought is not so crazy to consider. Since the very beginning, the definition of existence to the Aranaras were always centered around the flow of cycle of life. They believed that once they reached their end, they would return to Sarva, which is defined as whole or all. The simplest way to understand this notion is that everything will return to soil, becoming one with the forest, then they will be reborn in the likeness of their former self. A very direct hint towards reincarnation.
Okay.
But there is one caveat to this form of rebirth. The newly reborn entity does not retain their past memories. And because memory and experience are what ultimately defines an individual, the lack of memory will make the reincarnation a different person. In essence, Kusanali is inherently different from Rukkhadevata, but she may have retained the appearance of her former self, just like the illusion of the moon created by the reflection of the sun. Now, if this first theory sounds unlikely or ridiculous,
I mean, so basically you're saying that she got reincarnated, but still looks the same as she did before, is why the statues look similar in the first place, but her memories are gone because of reincarnation, and that whole thing causes the memory loss and such. Right? That's what you're saying? I mean, okay, that's theory
let's
one.
talk about the second theory, embodiment. What is the embodiment theory? To put it simply, it's the idea that Kusanali is a vessel that mirrors the previous gods. Alongside the cycle of life that we're probably familiar with by now, there's another reference that the writers use to craft the story of Sumeru, the trinity god of Hinduism known as Trimurti. In their belief, the creation of the world is linked to three deities: Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver, and Shiva the destroyer. Within Sumeru's story, we can notice something similar: the goddess of flowers, greater lord Rukkhadevata, and the Scarlet King. I believe Kusanali is the vessel that visually and symbolically embodies the cycle of life, the creator of dreams, preserver of Sumeru, and even representing the destruction that may be looming in the future. And because Kusanali inherited the titles like Goddess of Flowers and God of Wisdom, maybe her visual representation of Rukkhadevata is possible. If you thought reincarnation and embodiment theories were off the wall, strap in.
I love this song.
It's about to get crazier.
Alright, about to get crazy?
As to why Kusanali might resemble Rukkhadevata in appearance is because Kusanali is a replica. Now, half of you are probably thinking I'm tripping on some shroomkins, but the other half
you tripping on them Tainari
exactly
shrooms?
What I'm talking about. Teresa Apocalypse, the obvious export from Honkai Impact 3rd. Now, I believe that the story of Genshin and Honkai is not a direct one-to-one correlation. After all, Genshin Impact is a huge mixture of multiple inspirations. So to avoid a gigantic headache, let's stick with the main concepts. Long before the current story of Honkai Impact 3rd, Karen Kaslana dies, and after her death, Atto Apocalypse attempts to bring her back to life using the Honkai genes of Vishnu.
The obsession.
Eventually, he succeeds in creating Teresa, but she is later deemed as a failed reincarnation. Now, am I suggesting that Kusanali is a clone? Well, technically, it's not impossible because we've already...
yeah, it's not impossible because of Albedo and the clones that he has. Yeah, okay. You know, at first when you said it, I was like, huh? How are you going to connect this together? But now, okay, that's a good point. It wouldn't be the first time.
In Genshin Impact.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Albedo, Scaramouche, and obviously, Catherine. But what's
about
the creation
freaking
of Teresa
Catherine
is that
puppet.
her backstory resembles both reincarnation and embodiment theories we mentioned previously. Just like the reincarnation theory, Teresa originates from Karen and solidifies her individuality without memories, and similar to the embodiment theory, she is the symbol of life stemming from three entities: Karen, Vishnu, and Atto. Maybe the reason why Kusanali might look like Rukkhadevata is not because of a singular reason, but the culmination of all three. Whatever the case may be, one thing becomes very clear. Even if they might look similar, Kusanali and Rukkhadevata are different beings. And I believe this is the root of all the madness in Sumeru, the sages, and the Fatui. Throughout the Archon quest,
I really hate the
Kusanali
sages, by the
many
way.
different analogies, most notably referring to herself as the moon. The simplest way to decipher this symbolism is that Kusanali is the reflection of the sun, which I speculate to represent Rukkhadevata. But I believe this analogy goes much deeper, and if we fully grasp the truth behind her words, it explains why the sages are in denial of her existence. Throughout history, the sun and the moon always functioned as the guiding light of humanity, but we know that the sun is much brighter than the moon. Symbolically speaking, because the illumination of the sun is so bright, it unveils everything in the world, allowing humans to live a simple and one-dimensional life without questioning or exploring different possibilities. However, I believe that everything changed with the introduction of Kusanali, or the moon. Like the sun, the moon also functions as a source of light or guidance, but they're much dimmer. And because the light of the moon is not as bright as the sun, it allows us to witness the stars underneath the night skies, symbolizing the dawn of ambition, aspiration, imagination, and dreams, which mirrors the concept of constellations within the night skies of Tavat. Now, whether you agree or disagree with my interpretation, things are pretty suspicious if we take a look at how the sages are acting towards Kusanali.
Right.
The sages have always treated the wisdom of their previous archon as gospel, but after her supposed death or the disappearance of the sun, they are confronted with a new ideology, the possibilities of imagination and dreams ushered in by Kusanali. The sages are basically boomers that refuse to accept new perspectives and are outright dismissing these abstractions in the name of blasphemy. And to counteract these conceptualization, they are attempting to seal and bind away the notion of dreams using the Akasha system, the legacy of Rukkhadevata, which illustrates the old beliefs that lack imagination and are riddled with ignorance. Interestingly, aside from the philosophical representation, the dreams related to Kusanali also poses a problem for the Fatui. We all know that the Fatui has one goal, the dendronosis.
Yeah, the
the
gnosis, yes.
is connected to the memories of the Irminsul tree and the dreams of
I'm sorry,
Kusanali.
and if I just pause for a sec, the reason I haven't said much in like the last 2 minutes is like each time I thought about saying something, I'm just like, oh wait, no, I'm getting more immersed. I'm just like, oh god, let me pause for a sec to just process all of this information. Once again, like I said before, all my homies hate the freaking sages. The sages freaking suck. They do. They honestly do. And I can't wait until, like, I'm hoping this next update in the game that we properly, like, deal with the sages. Like, I know that's something that Kusanali, like, wanted to do, but, like, I hope we're there for it to see what's going on. Because that whole thing was a mess. And really messed up. That we had to keep living over the same day over and over and over again. Like, it was torturing us. So, yeah. I would definitely like to mud stomp them if we get the chance.
For the Fatui to get their hands on the Gnosis, they would...
Oh, and I don't know if he's going to touch on this, but freaking Ao hate them too. What's up with that guy? Seeming suspicious as hell, right? I'm sure we're going to get into a not-so-friendly encounter with him too, huh?
Need to find a way to sever the connection between Kusanali and the tree, but there's a small problem. No one can physically see Kusanali because she currently exists within the realm of dreams. And I believe that this is the reason behind the Fatui's attempts of kidnapping children of the Vomara village, so that they can study the Aranada's ability to jump between the real world and the imaginary world. It's also possible that the Fatui
So you're taking the kids' dreams?
The power of the Withering to corrupt and weaken the connection between Kusanali and the Irminsul tree.
That is
now,
messed
obviously,
up.
I'm just speculating here, and I'm sure we'll eventually learn the answers, but
Right.
there is something quite peculiar about the analogy of the sun and the moon. Kusanali claims inside the PV trailer that the sun is long gone. But if everything in Sumeru is related to the cycle of life, who's to say that the sun will never return? Maybe Rukkhadevata never truly died, but decided to step down by faking her own death to
Not like Zhongli.
humans understand the concept of imagination. Perhaps everything was a lie from the very beginning. But regardless of what really happened, the question remains, why isn't Kusanali doing anything? Before we get to the bottom of what's going on with Kusanali, I know a lot of these analogies and symbolism can get pretty confusing, so I just want to thank you for getting this far in the video.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button, and I don't know, consider subscribing. Let's talk about what's going on.
Definitely do that. Definitely do that. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, wasn't it the reason that Kusanali can't do more is that she was up in that building though or something, and she can't get out? Like, right? That's the whole thing, right? That I'm not tweaking on that answer that I have there, correct?
Whether Kusanali is a reincarnation, an embodiment, or a replica, there's one thing that's certain.
So that's why
For
she
the
goes into
Irminsul
people's
tree and
minds.
the Akasha system to continue, she is necessary for the sages, whether they like her or not. But I have a gut feeling, or rather an odd suspicion, that the sages are keeping her hostage.
Right.
Technically, the sages cannot seal her away completely because she can still traverse through the consciousness and dreams.
Exactly.
But the main reason why I believe she is being imprisoned is because of the caged bird. During our first interaction with Kusanali in the Golden Apple Archipelago event, she refers to herself as a bird. And for some reason, when
when we were running to chase her, the bird was there.
The camera focuses on the bird again, but this time the bird is inside of a cage, which I believe could be foreshadowing the lack of freedom and the state of her imprisonment. Now, believe it or not, this depiction of a caged bird was hinted to us before, way back during the chasm. Now, the caged bird in the chasm was technically used to measure the gas level of the mine, but the reason why I believe they're all connected is because Sumeru's Archon quest, the Golden Apple Archipelago, and the chasm story all seems to be linked to the illusion of chaotic space and dreams.
Oh god, you just reminded me of that. If I go back for a sec. You reminded me of that puzzle. How many of y'all, like, were stuck on this stupid time puzzle for a while because we just didn't realize that we could just, what was it, break the branch or something, burn it or something? Oh my, it was so dumb. It was so dumb. But my whole chat was just there having the time of their lives, just flaming me while I was just switching the time over and over again. Anyways.
Chaotic space and dreams.
Just reminded me of that.
Relevant to the design of Kusanali and the realm of consciousness. I honestly believe that while her consciousness may be free to roam, her vessel is being imprisoned and locked up somewhere within the academia by the corrupt sages of Sumeru.
No, I believe it, yeah.
The irony of all this is that if Kusanali truly wants to be free and wants to exist in the physical world, her connection to the Irminsul tree, the Akasha system, and the realm of dreams would all have to be severed. Basically, for Kusanali to obtain her vessel, the sages will ultimately fall into the state of disarray. The Fatui will obtain the Dendronosis, and the Irminsul tree will undoubtedly be destroyed. And
so everything has to basically go to hell in order for Kusanali to be able to have her normal body and move around like that. You gotta give up the Gnosis, alright? We're gonna burn down this damn tree. The sages are about to be all pissed off. Be freaking out.
And if any of this is true, that would explain why Kusanali is simply acting as an observer, because the entirety of Sumeru will completely fall into chaos. But the scariest part of all this is that we know damn well Kusanali will be a playable character, which means she would obtain a vessel and eventually exist in the physical world.
You know, why didn't I even think about that? Okay, you see, Island, this is why you're the smart one and you do the theories. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, if she's gonna be a playable character, she actually has to be there. Like, that has to happen at some point or another. All the other Archons are actually there, so... yeah. Huh. That's a really good point. I don't know. I just felt so dumb after that. I'm just like, oh, right.
But this is all theoretical anyway. I'm sure Sumeru will have a happy end.
Did you just cut it off right there? What was that ending? I'm sure Sumeru will have a happy ending.
But this is all theoretical anyway. I'm sure Sumeru will have a happy ending.
What the hell? Okay. Weird. I'm guessing that was on purpose. A round of applause for Island with this theory. That was really good. Very, very good theory as always. This one, like, it just makes me think how much, like, of a mind F freaking Sumeru is. Like, Sumeru, I think even more than the other regions that we've had so far, and just locations in general, whatever the case is like just messing with our brains and making us think, like, what the hell is real, what's not real, like, what's even going on at this point? And these Kusanali theories, they are hitting different. Because, yeah, she's definitely being, like, held captive. Like, she definitely is. And I don't know, like, it just makes sense with the ending of the video, what he was saying. The only way to, like, get her body back, you'd have to give it all, you'd have to, like, give up the Gnosis, you have to get rid of the tree, all the factors that play into you having the power. Because, like I said before, I genuinely do feel like Sumeru, like, it's gonna burn. Some part of Sumeru, like, something's gonna burn, okay? We're not gonna have this all a happy-go-lucky, like, thing going on in Sumeru. Some bad stuff is gonna happen. I still feel like somebody's gonna die. I mean, I'm still gonna say, like, I personally want to see, like, Kazuha versus Scaramouche, so I'm hoping Scaramouche pulls up there and you know they fight each other. So like I said this last time when I checked out a theory video. It's like I love Kazuha. Don't get me wrong. Like one of my favorite characters, honestly, is. But I'm looking for some pain in this game. Maybe I'm messed up for thinking that. Maybe I'm not. But I need somebody to get bodied in this game, okay? And then everybody's just gonna be going ballistic. They'll be like, no, why would you say that? I'd be like, hey, listen. There needs to be more stakes. So yeah, freaking Fatsui getting another Gnosis and then Sumeru going sort of down the drain in a sense would be quite interesting to see. Then you have the what was it? The reincarnation theory, which was quite interesting. I'm like, okay, you know, if Kusanali was reincarnated at that point and just lost her memories, and then you had the one with the whole cloning thing, which was compared to Honkai's whole thing with Terry and stuff and Callan, right? And then I low-key forgot Theory 2. Theory 2 had to do with the gods, right? Yeah. That's what that had to do with there. So yeah, I don't know. If I had to choose which one I believed the most... I don't know if I'd believe the clone one. Maybe the first one. I think it's pretty... Yeah. If I had to choose one, maybe the first theory with the reincarnation one. But I just don't know about the cloning one here. I mean... Okay, actually, I'm like brainstorming in my mind, but I'm like, okay, they've done clones with other characters, so why wouldn't they do it here? I mean, that's just a lot of power to give to a clone, but at the same time, Scaramouche is a clone and he has a coke-load of power, right? So maybe. Yeah, okay, you know what? Let's go with 3. let's go with Theory 3. In the comment section down below, let me know what you guys think of what theory you'd be rolling with here in this situation if you had to pick from the 3 of them. But yeah, it was very interesting. And then the comparisons with the sun and the moon, and saying what the sun is gone, right? And all that stuff. It was quite interesting. But damn, I just can't wait until we deal with the stupid sages. Like, how can you do that of just keeping people in that cycle over and over again, and they're just getting tortured? And I'm sorry, I don't remember the character's name, but the girl that we wanted to save and we ended, like, Kusanali ended up saving, like, she was almost dead. Like, these sages, dude, they need... I know Kusanali was talking about them getting punished, but I really do hope that we get to see what happens to them. And then, like I said, freaking Alhaitham was very suspicious towards, like... Was it the end of the Archon quest or the first act of it? Was it the first act of the Archon quest? Where Alhaitham was acting, like, pretty sus? So I don't know, I want to see what ends up happening there. But hey, the more villains, the better, alright? Keep bringing the villains, I love it personally. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, shout out to Island once again, subscribe to them, hit the like button on their video, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed, you know, watching the video with me here, like, share, comment, subscribe, helps out very, very much. Like I said, we're on the road to 6,000 subscribers. When the new Archon quest and the new missions come out in the next update, we will be there, okay? So stay tuned, stay tuned. But until the next one, appreciate y'all, love y'all, stay safe, hit that notification bell, and as always, don't do crack.
Be sure to subscribe to the Special K Experience if you enjoyed this video. If not, you're going to Femboy IHOP.